It's been a couple of weeks now since the beginning of all this buzz around Faceit and TF2. Content creators and the general community were very glad to see a large third party paying attention to our beloved game. Thus, Faceit's offering was very hyped. At the same time, people voiced concerns about the specifics of that project. Some controversy ensued in the community, and finally, the service went out of closed beta to be enjoyed by anyone. Although there are no servers available on my region, I was able to play some matches on their US servers. I don't know for how long I'll be able to keep playing there because I play on Linux, and I'm not sure how keen they are on supporting Linux players. But now I can say I have an informed opinion about Faceit's TF2. In general, it is fine, really. Players there are mostly interested on playing the game as it was designed to be played, to do the objective and compete to see what team comes on top. But I didn't feel like it was a hostile or aggressive environment, at least not any more than regular Valve servers. For instance, I didn't see anyone complaining about each other's playstyles, and people even reprehended other players that were beginning to show some bitterness. However, some of the problems common to a sparingly moderated online community were present on Faceit. In one of the matches I played, some people were calling each other homophobic slurs. The aftermath of that actually puzzled me a bit. I called those people out on chat saying, "Homophobia sucks." They scoffed at me as I expected, and I didn't answer them back after that. But what I wasn't expecting was a warning from Faceit about verbal abuse. Like, right after that match, Faceit was warning me that I was abusing chat, and I assumed the warning was because I wrote "homophobia sucks" in chat. It's an automated response, but that left me wondering, would Faceit give warnings to those bigots who are using slurs? How will moderation be handled? Will they mostly depend on flawed automated systems that, okay, are better than nothing? Or will they employ any semblance of meaningful human moderation, like most community servers do to keep their community civil? That concern aside, the quality of the matches wasn't bad. I'd say they mostly fell under three categories: exciting, tiresome, or lackluster. Exciting because when everyone is really focused on the game, teamwork really shines, and the synergy of all different TF2 classes makes for very engaging gameplay. But tiresome because it can sometimes feel like a grind, especially on King of the Hill, if you ask me. It felt a lot like playing quick play Overwatch, in the sense that there's constant fighting throughout the whole match, without the pockets of tranquility and playfulness we sometimes see on Valve's casual and that are very defining of the community server experience, which is my favorite. And lastly, lackluster because sometimes matches were nothing more than stomps. That can happen on community servers and on Valve's casual, but on Faceit, to me, it felt more pronounced because of the stopwatch system they chose to employ. It feels a lot like Meteor Match all over again. Sometimes, because your team played poorly or you got unlucky, you don't get to really experience a lot of the map you are playing. On community servers, that really isn't an issue because usually maps play out for multiple rounds. And on Valve's casual, you can simply stay in the same server to play that map again. But on Faceit, at least currently, you have to re-queue, and I found that to be quite lame, honestly. The queuing process, in fact, was quite annoying to me. Because I almost exclusively play on community servers, I'm used to opening the server browser, picking a server with an empty slot, and connecting to it. Quick, easy, and simple. Even Valve's casual system isn't that bad nowadays, because after you found a server for you to play on, you can stay on it for as long as you want, and you can re-queue while connected to a server if you want to look for another map and keep playing. But on FACEIT, you have to re-queue after each match, and that can become quite aggravating when you consider it isn't rare for matches to be cancelled by people who aren't paying attention to press the accept button. Also, I've encountered some matches that, even after being confirmed, were cancelled because people didn't connect, and everyone was simply booted from the server. Why? Why not give us the option to stay and play if we want? Another thing that really annoyed me was the fact that if someone disconnected, we were stuck with a bot on our team. I get it that FACEIT's idea is for people to play the whole match, but why not give people the option to join ongoing matches if they want to? Personally, I'd prefer being auto-balanced than play with a bot. But that could be just me, I'll concede. Also, there's little nitpicks like, why are we forced to spectate in first person only? One of the small things I enjoy is checking out everyone's sick cosmetic loadouts while I'm dead. I think it's part of the game's allure. But I can't do that on FACEIT, and I can't think of a good reason for that really. It's not like it would impair the balance of the match in any truly significant way. But as I said, that's really a nitpick. Anyway, if you like playing TF2 as it was intended to be played, you should give FACEIT a try to see what you think about it. Although there's some stuff to improve there, it's a good service and another place where you can go play some TF2. But I can't see myself using it as my main way to play the game. In some regards, the user experience is excellent, but in others it is way worse than what you find on good active community servers and even on Valve's casual matchmaking. And I still think something is lost from the TF2 experience when you don't stick around with people playing for multiple rounds on the same server. I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but there's something special about playing with the same fellas on the same server. It makes the experience more real and social, and the server becomes almost a physical place you go to meet your old friends and make new ones. I guess it's just that I'm a community server guy, and in my opinion, the community server experience is where the real TF2 is at. To me, FACEIT's implementation of TF2 and Valve's casual matchmaking to an extent as well feel a bit empty and soulless. But you might not feel the same way about it. You only know for sure if it is good or not if you give it a try, so I encourage you to do that. Now, before I end this video, there's something else I want to mention, and that's more directed to my fellow content creators and community figures. But it is also relevant to the general public, so listen up. I've been seeing some content creators on the defensive about FACEIT, as if they have a duty to protect it from any sort of criticism. And in doing so, I've seen some important figures in the community summarily disregarding dissenting opinions and justifiable concerns other smaller content creators and players were voicing. I've even seen more than one of those community figures say stuff like, if you don't like FACEIT, then go play on the bot-filled casual matchmaking. As if the only option is to play FACEIT or play with bots. Like, what about playing on community servers? And even Valve's casual, with all the bots it has, is still playable. I know a lot of people who still only play on casual and have a good enough experience with it. Seeing that divisive discourse really upset me because it is a very polarizing take on a subject that didn't need to be polarized, and I think it is the opposite of what a community leader should do. Community leaders should work to unite, not to divide. I even dare to say that a bit of the disappointment some players are feeling towards FACEIT is due to content creators overhyping what FACEIT would eventually release. Just the other day I've published a video about how hype is a bad thing, and we really can see that in effect now. I'm sure you've seen people trying to sell the idea that FACEIT would save TF2, that it was the solution to the bot crisis, and stuff like that. I don't blame people for getting excited about our beloved game getting some well-needed attention, but making those statements made it impossible to avoid the disappointment and even suspicion some would have when they realized that what was coming wasn't exactly what they thought was being initially announced. I think that FACEIT is also to blame on this, because labeling itself as casual or even serious casual, what does that even mean? Doesn't really communicate what they are offering. They should have just said it would be FACEIT TF2 from the start, without even trying to sell the experience as a casual one. That wouldn't have grabbed as much attention, but I'm sure a lot less people would be disappointed by it, a lot more would be willing to try it nowadays, and content creators wouldn't feel like they have the duty to convince people to go play on FACEIT. By the way, if I can give some advice here about stuff I have learned the hard way from past experiences, I'd say you should not be too much on the defensive about the things you enjoy. Being too adamant about protecting something will only make people see it as a target, and you end up feeding exactly what you'd like to suppress: criticism about it. If you are a content creator and you truly enjoy playing on FACEIT, then go play on it, produce content on it, have fun on it. Positive attitude is what will make people agree with you and feel like they want to join you, not negative bashing of others' personal preferences and opinions. So, what do I think about FACEIT? It is not what will save TF2 from bots and cheaters. It is not a true replacement for casual matchmaking. It won't render community servers obsolete. It is simply another platform for you to play on if you want to. And if you are at all intrigued by it or by what people are saying about it, you should give it a try to see what you personally think about it. It could become your new favorite way to play the game, and you only truly know if that's the case if you give it a chance. And what do you think about all this? Have you tried playing on FACEIT? Are you planning on doing so? What do you think about how this topic has been handled by the community? Let me know in the comments below. I'm interested on hearing from you. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe so you don't miss my future uploads. See you next time and bye bye.